Well, so Meyer, you
But
started Cryptex, and you're from Panama and Jamaican, I heard. And can you tell us about how do you get the journey to start Cryptex?
So, it took me about, 6 months traveling by sea, No, just kidding. So I started Cryptex because I realized that, well, first off, I did my first messaging app when I was in college.
Well, tell us about that. What was that?
Well,
like?
It was called the Jiggle, and it was poised to be the WhatsApp of back then. The kicker was that you didn't have to add friends, but you just log in with Facebook, and automatically any of your friends from Facebook that had Jiggle were already your contacts.
Okay.
So it was going to be cross-platform. At the time, in 2011, cross-platform didn't really exist. It was either you had a BBM or you had an Android or you had an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And that really didn't fly with me because I had a BBM for Latin American contacts, and then I had an iPhone when I was in college. So I didn't really have to have two phones.
There was no Chrome's, there was no Google App Store then, right?
There was, but it was very poor back then. The industry was very young. And so I started back then, but I didn't get to market in time. A competitor came about and got acquired by Facebook, doing the exact same thing. So we were spot on. So that was my first interest in messaging. But primarily, 2 years ago, I was working with the presidential campaign in Panama. We were just doing like an app for the campaign when somebody took a screenshot of a private conversation that was being held by one of the people, the team in the campaign, and they leaked it to the press. So what I realized was when I saw the screenshot, I said, well, it's not the content that I'm worried about, it's the fact that that was a BlackBerry. Someone just took a picture of the BlackBerry. So if you can't communicate securely on a BlackBerry, then where do you communicate? So I realized it wasn't a security problem. It's not about encryption. It's about privacy and data ownership. So that's why we created Cryptex, because the minute you hit send, you lose ownership and control of your own information. So Cryptex started as a messaging app where you own your data. And we now expanded to email, where even the emails that you send, you still own.
Okay, so I send an email to you. Sometimes I regret that I sent an email one time I got an email from a vendor I work with, and they sent an email to me, and it wasn't even meant to go to me. Could they delete that email before I got it?
Yeah, so that's called human error. Information leakage costs globally about $600 billion a year to enterprises around the world. And 33% of it comes from human error. So sending that email to the wrong person. There's a very, very prominent case that happened last year. Goldman Sachs, last year in the summer, an employee sent an email with confidential information to the wrong address, went to a Gmail account. And when they asked Google to delete the email, Google said, I'm sorry, but have you read my terms of service? I own this email. So they had to settle with Google. And they realized that even though they have all the encryption in the world or all the security systems, they have no control. So with Cryptex, you always have control, no matter where you send it to, where it's being read, doesn't matter. The other person doesn't have to have Cryptex. You as a sender, you get to send secure emails, you get to track whether they're being opened, whether they've been read or not. And you can take it back at any point in time if you've made a mistake.
Can I edit the mail that hasn't been read yet?
Technically speaking, we could build that feature, but we don't want to because that wouldn't be ethical,
Okay.
You don't want people, saying that they didn't say X, Y, Z or whatever.
So, any other features and you want to share what the Cryptex can do? Is that the main features?
So that's the main feature. So what we've done is basically fundamentally changed the way people communicate.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
So think about it from the first love letter that was sent 400 years ago till the last email or text message that you sent. You don't own the information the minute you send it. And it's your data.
Yeah.
So, in an era where we're losing privacy, day over day, more and more, this is a fundamental change where now you are in control.
No.
So how we take it to market, now that is realistically, this is the challenge. All right.
Did you decide to go to first, so you're thinking, I'm going to sell this to consumers for $10 a month, or Did you think businesses right away?
We said businesses straight off the bat. We realized that the value for this is in the business because we make mistakes as individuals, but it doesn't cost us that much. Now, when you talk about an organization with 500 people, one mistake has ripple effects that can affect your entire organization. So that's where the value is. So right now, we're only an enterprise service. Yeah. So we sell the company a private network of their own. They create all the users, and the apps are free to download. But to open an account, you have to be issued one by your company administrator.
Oh, that's interesting. Any challenges you had, like just developing this product?
Yeah, ton of them. I mean, as it is, messaging and email is not easy. Now, add a layer on top of that called security and privacy, which are two separate things. And you've got yourself a very, very difficult task on you when it comes to product development. And in my team, I'm called the pixel Nazi because I need everything to be perfect. I believe in experiences, not features, but experiences. Because at the end of the day, security is something that's complicated. And we wanted to just make it simple. I want the experience to be seamless. And that's what we've done. So doing that has taken us a while, but it's been our target from the very beginning. Make it as seamless as consumer software, but with a utility that enterprise needs.
And any advice closing out to entrepreneurs that have an idea like you had for a product, common mistakes people make?
Yeah, don't make excuses, I'd say. There are a lot of excuses to not build something. Oh, I don't have a team. I don't have the funding. But, you don't really need a team to build a product. You don't need a product to validate whether your idea is right. First thing you want to do is you want to take it to market. You want to sit down with a target audience and say, listen, this is what we've built. Would you be interested in buying it? So that's the first validation you want to get. So before you spend money on development, before you assemble a team, and before you even waste your time, go ahead and validate. It doesn't cost you anything, and it'll get you a long way.
All right. Thank you very much, Meyer. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.